All right, music fans, welcome back. It is Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people, just like you, right there, and yours truly right here. Last year, I was a big proponent of the Revolution Saints' second album, Light in the Dark. By the way, their first album is great too. Last year, though, I believe this was one of the top melodic rock albums of 2017, driven by the incredible guitar work of Doug Aldrich, the incredible drumming and singing of Dean Castronovo, and a fabulous guest appearance by Jack Blades from Night Ranger on the title track. The video for that, I think, is a little campy, a little fun, and just shows these guys sort of hamming it up and having a good time. Here's the deal. There's another guy out with a book right now, and I've talked about this at length, and I'm not denigrating his story or his memoir or his book. I don't know how many pages the book is. I had the Audible version, and I listened to about 95% of it. I did some fast forwarding here and there to get to the points. It's supposed to be kind of this story of how I, got spiritual and how God was in stuff that I just don't think God was in. I just don't. I think it's revisionism. But, you could say that God, anybody can come out and say, well, God guided this entire process and brought me right here. That's true. But at that moment that you were being guided along and you had nothing to do, you personally didn't want to have anything to do with God, I don't know how you somehow make this assertion that that moment was like a God moment. Like, for instance, the song Don't Stop Believin', I don't believe that song was inspired by God. I think if you read the lyrics and you can make this kind of assertion, we're not all street life people. We're not a man and a woman or a young kid or whatever, or a girl looking to hook up on the midnight train, because that's what it sounds like to me, or you could infer. That's the thing about lyrics. But when you hear the 11 songs on Light in the Dark, you hear a story about redemption. You hear a transparent person who is putting it out there directly, without any pretense, knowing that, hey, and by the way, saying, I don't really care what you think about my newfound faith. I don't care what you think about how I got here. I don't even care about what you think about what I did before. But the acknowledgement, this is another thing, that there's a big difference between that memoir and this album. This album acknowledges all of the screw-ups and does so in a way that's very transparent and right out there on Dean Castronovo's sleeve. He's wearing it. He's wearing it. The other guy is trying to tell us, so I was married still, and then I did this, but then there was no resolution, and then I hung out with this person, and then I met my new wife, and then finally that ended, so then I went, and it just, there's no, it's not like, it's not honest. It makes a good story, but it leaves out things. It leaves some stuff open for interpretation. And not only that, again, I don't think Journey as a band really has a lot of spirituality in it. There were moments, like on Trial by Fire and other places, where you can think, hey, maybe there was something a little bit more going on here that inspired the songwriting. But the songs in question aren't those songs. I mean, Don't Stop Believin' seems to be the song that is, it's turning into a worship song. All right, let me just recap the songs on this amazing album. Again, if you don't have Light in the Dark, you got to go get it. Download it. I downloaded it the day it was available, and I typically don't do that kind of stuff. I typically wait, or I find someone who's going to send it to me or something. This was day one. Heard the first track, courtesy of Frontiers, by the way. Again, a smart record label, because they promoted this, they produced it, and it turns out it was one of the best albums of 2017. Light in the Dark is the first track, about redemption, about love, it's unfailing love. It's relentless. It keeps coming after you. Freedom is the next track. Just this tribal rhythm, this tribal beat, and it hits you right between the eyes, and it's about the freedom that you have when you find true faith. You're free not to do the crap you used to do because you're in a better place. You're in a higher, real, authentic place. Ride On. I found that to be a great song about just perseverance and just, hey, there's stuff in the rearview mirror. I'm not looking back, though. I'm not looking back anymore at that stuff. I wouldn't change a thing. One of the most popular ballads on this collection, and a scintillating, I said it was the greatest power ballad since When You Love a Woman by Journey. Maybe I was being a little pompous and pretentious with that. But at the time, I just really dug that song, and a lot of people agreed with me. The song is about no regrets over the struggle. You know, you've had this struggle, wouldn't change a thing, meaning, you know, I went through all of this, and even though this has been a hard road, you know, I am where I'm at now for a reason, okay? It acknowledges the struggle, though. It doesn't just candy coat it, all right? Don't Surrender, basically not ashamed of the new place I'm at. And then we've got Take You Down, which is a real powerful song. It's more or less about rebounding, like getting back on your feet and making it happen. Trusting that God is there with you. The Storm Inside, battling with demons, just that's what it is. Everybody's got them, and Dean puts it right out there. Can't Run Away from Love is basically a song about being pursued by the goodness of God. That's what the song is about. Running on the Edge is about being rescued. It's about being rescued from disaster. You're living your life on the edge. You're about to go over the cliff, and then you get rescued. Another Chance, simply it's about second chances. Falling Apart is at the point where you're just calling out because you've reached rock bottom, you're flat on your back, and the only place you can look is up, okay? And that's what that is about. 11 fantastic tracks, a spiritual memoir that you can listen to, musically speaking. And for me, I got more out of it than I got out of that book that I was telling you about. So again, you may want to read the book. I advise people to do it because there's a lot of good rock and roll stuff in there, inside stuff with people who love Steve Perry. They want to know every detail from every perspective, and there's some Perry stuff in there. This album, the only Perry thing about Night in the Dark, or Light in the Dark, is the way that Dean Castronovo sings. He's the heir apparent. He's the closest guy out there right now to Mr. Steve, who's active and whose voice is at 100%. So that's my perspective, long-winded. I don't know if it made any sense. See you soon, everybody.